All right, welcome to our second edition of the BJE Committed Spotlight. We're here with Matthew Graveline of Centerville High School. How's it going, man?
It's going good. How about yourself?
Doing well. Thanks for jumping on here. We want to kind of go through your journey, your recruiting process, and just what the last few years have looked like for you and how it's culminated to your commitment to Ohio State University. So, just out of the gate, just talk to us about take us back to 8th grade, 9th grade, when this whole process was beginning for you. Give us a window into what those years were. Did you always feel like, I want to play college baseball, or what was that like?
Yeah, so it's always been a dream of mine to play D1 baseball. And so I'd say starting about 8th grade, I started getting looked at by one Big Ten school. And then that kind of like ramped up going into freshman year. And then here come all these other schools coming at me like Horizon, MAC, more Big Ten. And then, it just keeps getting up like bigger and bigger. And then here we are today pretty much.
It's awesome. Yeah. Tell us about your family, who was kind of in your corner, your parents obviously support and everything, but as you're navigating the interest, you're navigating, pressure of people coming to watch and things like that, talk to us a little bit about your family and just how that was a family deal.
Yeah, so my parents helped me out big time through all this, especially my dad. He took me up to work, like pretty much even after work. Pretty much, he was a big help for me, definitely, along my journey. So
now, did they kind of, we see a lot with families, but were they hands off a little bit? Was it kind of your call and they were going to support whatever, or were they kind of, involved in the making, and what was that like?
So basically, they wanted the best fit for me. So whatever what I was interested in, they went along with it. So
very cool.
Plus they've always liked Ohio State, so
that helps. Did you grow up an OSU fan?
A what?
OSU fan, like an Ohio State fan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How much did that kind of, in the backdrop as you're going through this process, was that a major influence just growing up a fan of OSU and the university?
Oh yeah, definitely. I went to, 2 or 3 Michigan Ohio State football games, so I love the atmosphere down there. So
yeah,
it's awesome.
That's awesome, man. Let's switch gears a little bit to your Bo Jackson elite team. You played for Coach Tom Schaefer and on a very talented 2022 team. And talk to us a little bit about that team. And then, Coach Schaefer has been around the block. He's had some guys, move on to the next level. And what was it like playing for him and on that team this summer?
It was a great experience. I love him. He's a great coach. And then I love how he goes out of his way to recruit his players and get them committed and looked at, because not every coach does that. Plus he knows a lot of people, so.
It's awesome. Now that team's got, a number of guys committed and do you feel like that really helped you rubbing shoulders and being in a dugout with guys that are kind of on a similar path and journey as you?
Oh yeah, definitely. And it helps that I'm catching one of them just recently committed, Luke Slim. But it helps that I catch them, so build that chemistry up.
Definitely. So, kind of go into that a little bit. You got multiple guys, some arms, I think, in that class on your team, 3 lefties that are highly projectable and heading to Division I programs. And, how much did that help you as a catcher developing just to be catching those types of arms and working with them?
Yeah, so they definitely make me better, I would say. I have to help them out here and there, but overall it's good. So
it's good, definitely. Well, you're one of the unique guys that in your age hit this summer. Usually the summer you entered into is a major recruiting year, but you entered it in the middle of a global pandemic. So talk a little bit about that process and your season ending in the spring, but then kind of how this summer was just a very different recruiting landscape than a traditional year. And what was that like?
Yeah, so this year, actually, I hit the offseason hard on hitting because that was one of my, I would say, weakest parts. And so I hit really well this year, batted like 400. And so last year, all the colleges came out and watched me, and they're like, I really like this kid. Plays really well defensively, but doesn't know if the offensive side is going to come around. And so they said they want to come out and watch me next year, which we're in a pandemic right now, so they can't. And the dead period's extended, so that kind of screwed me a little bit. But I mean, yeah, you can go on live stream, but I don't think it's the same.
Right.
And so when Ohio State came at the offer, I was definitely in because, I mean, we're in a pandemic, and I love the school. It's a perfect fit for me.
Yeah, go into that, even a little bit more. When you hear the dead period is getting extended and the realities of what this summer recruiting would look like, what kind of effect did that have on emotionally? Was it frustration? Was there discouragement? And talk to us a little bit about just how you managed all of that, because that's a very unique and a bad break to kind of navigate. And what was that like for you, and mentally and emotionally, and with your family? Because it's a huge summer, and you're getting news, whether it's through a tweet or a text from Coach Schaefer saying, "Hey, this is going to look totally different than what it should."
Yeah.
What was that like?
I would say it was a mix of emotions because, I mean, you just had to keep working, and hopefully, I hope there was a season because there was no high school season. So now we were hoping for summer ball, and it happened. And obviously, it was good that it happened because I think everyone needed to get out and play. But yeah, it was definitely a mix of emotions, especially for me. So
definitely, no, that makes total sense. Let's kind of switch gears a little bit. With the OSU recruiting, you said you had a few years probably where they were talking with you, and which coaches on that staff were you kind of closest to? And as this process continued to get more and more serious and the interest grew, and was there someone that was kind of your go-to contact?
So yeah, it was mainly Beals. He was interested because I played at their stadium a year ago or something with the BJE, and then we weren't talking too much, but it was kind of on and off. And then Schaefer actually told me, he said they didn't have any scholarship money to give left, and so it's kind of hard to explain, but I get it kind of just came up. So Schaefer was basically, if they offer you, would you accept? And I was like, hell yeah. So yeah, that was pretty awesome.
That's awesome for sure. Yeah, I mean, at the catcher position, obviously they just sent a big name guy, graduated out of the program at Ohio State, and I'm sure that was on your radar as well. But talk to us a little bit about just some of the things that excite you most about heading to Ohio State, joining that program, and being a part of things over there. What are you most looking forward to?
I play with about Cole Pauley, Luke Schlimm, and Landon Price. They're all going there. So I look forward to catching them in college too. I love the location. My parents can come watch me. I love the school in general, and yeah. So.
Yeah, you're definitely right. I mean, so even on your team from Bo Jackson Elite, there's a lot of guys heading there. From BJE as a whole, man, there's a lot of guys already there, and is that something you're pumped about, just to have some familiarity there with players before you head into college?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. Switch gears here for a second. Talk to me about Centerville High School. Obviously a few years back, Centerville had a pretty big name catcher. A lot of people know Sean Murphy, right? And he's with the Oakland A's now. Is there something in the water at Centerville for catchers and defensive minded catchers with cannons for arms? And what's going on behind the scenes there? Are they, in middle school is gym class just catching drills and pop times, or what's going on there? And talk to us a little about the program and the coach there and what that experience has been like.
Yeah. So, I love the coaches there. They're awesome. I love the program and all that stuff. Actually, Sean's dad's the catching coach, so I get to work with his dad.
Yeah.
And Sean comes back here and there. But he's doing really well in the big leagues right now. So he just hit a home run. But yeah.
It's awesome, man. Yeah, it's a catching hotbed for sure, and you're in a good list of guys that are have bright futures, behind the plate, and so talk to us a little bit too. There is some similarities there. Not to go too deep into it, but Murphy for a while was considered the best defensive catcher in that draft class. And you know, you mentioned as well that the defensive side for catching came along faster for you than maybe the offensive side. And you obviously, you know, can hold your own at the plate. But, you know, what is it about that mentality? Is that something that was kind of ingrained in you when you were younger as a catcher defensively to lock it down back there? And talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I was always taught like people want more defensively catchers than it'd be a bonus if they could hit, but it wasn't like you don't have to be like hitting as good as outfielders, you know. And so now that we're coming up to like college and senior year, they're like, no, we want guys that can hit. I was like, okay, so I kind of put the bat together, and here we are today.
So cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Really cool. So take me through, if you were to go back and talk to an 8th grade Matthew or a 9th grade Matthew who was on the front end of this recruiting process, and you know you've shifted through and you're now in a committed you know position, but what advice would you give a younger you for how to navigate the recruiting process, navigate this whole landscape of you know, moving from high school to college and interacting with coaches and showcases and games and all that? Just give us some advice here.
Yeah, so I would say just put your head down and keep working. You know, I mean, not everyone has to go through this pandemic like some of these kids. And so, you know, just keep working, put your head down, and be coachable. Listen to all your coaches, and I would just say, you know, also if like colleges start coming, like be humble, like don't go to your friends and stuff and brag. I would just say like be humble and stuff like that. So
it's awesome, man. Yeah, you strike me as a really grounded individual,
yeah.
just concerned with your process, and I think that's awesome. Talk to us a little bit, you know, in this space of recruiting, and I mean, in your team, obviously there were players on your team who committed before this season. There's been, you know, there's always in this space, you know, rumblings of who's getting a call from who and who's getting offers from who. And what advice would you give for someone who is battling comparison in this space, a player who maybe is coming along in their development but isn't attracting the type of attention that others are? And how do you, you know, keep from peeking over your shoulder at someone else's journey?
I would say, you know, like be you. You gotta, I mean, but you have to do something that stands out that the other kid doesn't do. So whether that's maybe he's more talented than you, but you're a better teammate or something.
Mm.
So I would definitely take that into consideration.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's music to my ears, you know, and I think that's great stuff. So, well, thank you so much for jumping on, man, and we really appreciate your time, and we're pumped for you and excited for you to head to Ohio State. It's gonna be fun to watch your collegiate career and join a number of BJU guys over there, but we're pumped for the next few years as well. You know, you got this commitment out of the way, but there's work still to be done, right? There's development still to chase, and we're excited to see that process continue for you, and pumped to see you keep your head down and keep growing. So,
yep.
Cool, man. Thanks for your time, and look forward to seeing you out and about at the Dome here soon.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Thank you.
See you.